If you're a contractor who wants to grow their business, then this video is for you. It doesn't matter whether you're an electrician, a plumber, a general contractor, a pressure washing company, anybody who provides a service to a homeowner, then you are going to want to stay tuned because I'm going to show you the two places you can go show up in Google that you can pay for and how to win at them. So before I jump in, there's a couple things we need to do before we start focusing on ads on Google. The first is we have to have a place to send our traffic. It could just be as simple as a Google business profile, which you're going to have for one of the places you show up. And in the other, you're going to have a website, you're going to have a landing page. It's a little bit more complicated, but even before we do that, we've got to have the basics of our business right. Do we have a business phone number? Do we answer it? Even if it goes to our cell phone, do we answer it? Do we have a way to follow up with people? Do we have a sales process? When somebody calls, do we just, yeah, I'll come take a look at it? Or do you have a very clearly defined process where you know what you're going to do? Getting those basics right, because if you start spending money to generate leads and you don't have a process in place to convert those leads into paying customers, you're just going to waste your money. And I've got a bunch of other videos on that. You can go find those. I'll link them down below. But without any further ado, let's jump into the places you can show up on Google as a paid advertiser to generate leads and new business for your contracting business. So number one, and by far the easiest, is Google local service ads. So the only thing you have to get this going is a Google business profile. I've got another video that shows you how to do that. It will be linked down below. But Google business profile is different than Google search ads. And so Google search ads, you're going to pay per click, whereas Google local service ads, you're going to pay when you actually get a lead. And it is extremely easy to set up, and I don't know exactly when they started it, but they saw that Home Advisor, Angie's Leads were taking a big chunk of the market, and people were already coming to Google, and they saw a great advertising opportunity and created local service ads. And so the way it works is you create your profile, and you're going to have to do a background check. It's not difficult. It doesn't cost anything. But you have to do the background check. They may, depending on what industry you're in, like I recently did one for a pest control company, they're going to want to see your pest control license with the state. And it varies by industry, but there's a couple things you're going to have to do to get it set up, but it's extremely easy. It can just take 2 to 4 weeks. And then once you get it set up, all you're going to do is set a weekly budget. Now, just because you say, let's say you set your budget at $1,000 a week, you're never going to spend that. Well, it's highly unlikely that you're going to spend it. Lots of times I'll set clients to $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a week just so that Google will show us as many times as possible, but there's never enough traffic to actually capture that entire budget. And they're going to give you an idea what you're going to pay per lead, and it's all demand based. So let's just say you're a landscaping company in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's going to depend on how many other people are advertising on Google local service ads. And one way you can do that is just search whatever your service is in your city, and you're going to see those local service ads pop up, and it's going to see Google guarantee with that little check mark, and you'll see 2 of them. But if you click on show more, you'll be able to see how many people there are. And if there are, more than 10, it's pretty competitive. Less than 10, especially less than 5, you are going to do very, very well. You're going to show up a lot. And the price, depending on how many people are competing and what they're willing to pay, will determine your price. So the more people you see when you click show more, the higher your cost per click is going to be, or your cost per lead, which is going to be either a call or a message. But they're sunsetting messages, and those will go away soon. But your cost is going to be dependent on how many people are competing for that. So something like roofing, you can pay $50, $100, $200 per phone call, and it can get pretty pricey, but less competitive things, and it varies by market. There's no real general rule. Like I've seen leads as low as like $10 per lead, and I've seen leads as high as $250 per lead. And it's just going to vary. But a good indicator is how much competition is there and how much money are you making per job. You know, if you're a pressure washing company and you're making, you know, $200 or $300, you obviously can't afford to spend $200. So those leads are going to be a little bit less expensive. But whatever Google's charging, just know that somebody else out there is making money from it. And if it's too expensive for you, either you're not converting enough to have it make sense, or you're just not charging enough. So Google's local service ads is extremely easy to set up. You don't have to have a landing page. You don't have to have a website. You just have to have a Google business profile, go through the setup process. And then another way to win at Google local service ads is, you know, you've got to pick up the phone when someone calls. And you also need to go into their dashboard and you need to report back to Google, yes, this was a valid lead, I booked them, I completed the job, and that lets Google know, A, that you are giving a great user experience to the person who's searching for your service, and you're, you know, showing up, you're doing what you're supposed to, but also when you show them that you booked it and you completed the job, it shows Google, well, this is the type of person I'm looking for, and their machine learning AI is really, really good at figuring out who you're looking for. And so by doing that, you're going to be able to generate leads. And it's honestly pretty inexpensive. You could start with something as cheap as $50 a week. Just see what kind of leads you have. And again, that's going to vary by industry. $50 a week as a roofer isn't going to do a whole lot. But $50 a week as a, you know, landscaping business or a pressure washing company is going to do pretty well. So Google local service ads, best place to start, least expensive, and you only pay per lead instead of Google's search ads where you're going to be paying per click, and that's where we're going to jump into next. So the second place you can show up on Google and pay for it is Google search ads. So this is the original Google advertising product, and when you think of Google ads, it used to be called AdWords. This is going to show up on the page. So when you Google your trade or your service, near me, my city, whatever it is, you're going to see those Google local service ads up top, there first. Then Google plays with it. You'll see, sometimes you'll see a search ad, sometimes you'll see the map pack, you might see an organic result, but somewhere near the top of the page, you're going to see some search ads, and then you'll see another batch of those search ads lower down on the page. And you can tell because they've got the little promoted gray text right next to it. And you don't know where you're going to show up on the page. You know, Google's constantly testing things. But search ads are much more difficult and complicated than local service ads. So if you were just getting started, definitely start with local service ads. But if local service ads are not delivering the volume of leads and traffic that you're looking for, then search ads are a great option for you. If you've never had any experience, I strongly recommend you hire someone like us to help you manage it, or find somebody who has lots of experience with Google Ads, because, you know, out of all of the online advertising platforms such as Facebook, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google is by far the most difficult and complicated. But it can be awesome. You can get a lower cost per lead if you really nail your keywords and you've got a great landing page that's converting. So to do Google search ads, you've got to have a website or a landing page. You got to have a place to send traffic. And then you have to have a way to capture their information or give them something to do, such as click to call, complete this form to request a quote, or schedule a quote with our online scheduling tool. And it is an art and a science. There is a ton of work that goes into it, but once you figure it out, you're only limited by the amount of search traffic, and you're not depending on Google to put you in those top 2 spots like you are in local search ads, because we can, in Google search ads, if we get a winning campaign, we can start putting more money behind it, we can increase our bids, and we can show up and get a lot more volume. But that's kind of, you know, the first thing is just going to be get that Google business profile, get that firing on all cylinders. Make sure you're getting your Google reviews. That way, you're going to show up in map search, and when somebody sees your local service ad, if you've got 100 reviews and the other person showing up in the top 2 has 5 reviews, obviously they're going to call you. So get those basics right. But if you get to the, if you've done your profile, if you've done local service ads, and you still have the capacity to take on more business, that's when we start looking at Google search ads. So the 2 places you can show up: local service ads, Google search ads. And they're both great. They're awesome tools. They both have different uses. But if you're just getting started and you're going to play with advertising, I would start with local search ads. And if you guys have any questions, please put them down in the comments. And we're Arrow Advertising. We specialize in contractor marketing, whether that's websites, business phone, text, automatic missed call text back. So somebody calls you and you miss the call, it automatically texts them back and says, "Hey, so sorry, I'm on the other line." And digital advertising. So if you guys have any questions or you'd like help setting up your local service ads, Google ads, social ads, anything, would love to have a chat with you. Link is going to be down to the website. And until next time, keep doing well, and I hope you guys crush it.